It won't have escaped your notice that politics in Britain has become, shall we say, a little batshit crazy. It started to go a little bit wrong in 2008 with the financial crash. Then things got weird with Brexit. They got weirder still with the pandemic. And underlying all of this, we had a slow demographic decline such that the age profile of Britain was aging, which means costs go up, taxes go down. We had successive governments starting with Tony Blair turn on the accelerator when it came to immigration and all the issues that's causing us today. And we've had a slow transition of power away from the elected to the unelected when Gordon Brown released the civil service so that it no longer reported to a politician. And all that's led to a situation today where it feels like no one's able to actually do anything about the problems that we have. And indeed, those that might be able to do something about it are making them worse by shying away from them. So we have a Labour Party and a Labour leadership that know full well that they are overspending, that they can't borrow anymore. 82 pence for every pound we now borrow goes on repaying back the money we've already borrowed. And they've caged themselves in with their election promises not to increase taxes, which was politically naive, if you're being kind, given that they were going to win the election anyway, because everyone was so fed up with the Tories. And they can't reduce costs because their own backbenchers won't let them. There'll be another rebellion. And so as a result, they're scratching around trying to look for what taxes they can raise without breaking their promises. And then on the other side, we have Reform, who, while they do have some interesting ideas on how to reform certain parts of the economy, get rid of some of the stupider policies, some of the stupider laws, are also quite willing to just splash out the cash in a populist way. So that's not going to help the finances. And then beyond that, we've got everyone else seeing how far to the left they can go. We've got the Greens under Zach Balansky, who are just one step short of being Marxists. We've got the Lib Dems, who, well, it's the Lib Dems, no one pays attention to them anyway. We've got Jeremy Corbyn, who, if he finally gets his act together and doesn't get sued by the ICO for data breaches, will no doubt be as equally far to the left as Zach Balansky. And the Tories, well, they've been licking their wounds and being very quiet because, let's face it, they messed up big time, and it's going to be a while before the electorate starts to forgive them. So it was interesting to see in the recent Conservative conference the highlight of the speech from Badenoch, which was that they're going to scrap stamp duty. Now, I've long said that stamp duty is a horrible tax. It does huge damage to the economy and we should get rid of it. And I'll give them an applause because they're the only ones actually saying they're going to do it. And they're also saying that they're going to give half of any savings that they make through their other policies to actually reducing the level of the debt, which I also agree with, because there will be some time in the future we will need to borrow, whether it's another pandemic or for a growth spurt, and we're going to need to borrow to do it. And we can't do it unless we first get that borrowing down. So kudos to the Tories, but then they go and ruin it with their policy on encouraging more first-time buyers. Now, I'm not against people buying a home, but the problem with our housing market is supply and demand. So unless you've got plans in place to increase supply, anything you do to make it easier for someone to buy just increases demand, and the prices continue to rise, making it harder for everybody else. So unless you've got a plan to make it easier to build homes and increase liquidity, of which stamp duty is a good way of doing it, it really is a big shot in the foot. And of course, no one's facing the really big issue facing the country, which is the cost of pensions. The triple lock is going to bankrupt this country in a few years unless somebody has the bravery to say, you know, guys, it was fine for a while, it's brought pensions up to where they need to be, but now we need to be a little more sensible, because we're having more and more old people, less and less taxpayers, old people living longer, and the total bill for pensions is rising at an average of about 4.5% a year, and that is simply unaffordable. So 10 out of 10 for stamp duty, Kemi, but please do more. Bye for now.